Hi listeners, Harika here, and I'm super excited to welcome you to Upptalk. If you're ready to learn and get your hands work wonders in the world of information technology, then you're in the right place. When I say Upptalk, we are not just another edtech company. Consider we are your learning partner committed to unlocking your full potential. Whether you're stepping into the world of technology for the first time or looking to advance your career, we provide top-tier, hands-on courses to build up your career. Let's take our first step towards learning here and explore it. Let's investigate SAP, a well-known enterprise resource planning system, and discover its many functionalities and business applications.
So where can you assign this procedure once it is recorded? So you can assign it here in Assign Restrictions. Now the restriction is fixed. That means it is static restriction that you have created. So instead you can assign Catalog Procedure or Repository Procedure. And you can. Catalog Procedure is the procedure which is created and which cannot be transported from one system to another system. Whereas repository procedure can be transported from one system to another system. So this procedure creation is not our task. It is a task of a modeler. But for knowledge purpose, I'll be showing you how to create a sample procedure using catalog procedure. And I will show you how we can restrict it. That is fun. I am going to show that. But in real time, we are not going to create any procedure. We will only assign a procedure when it is given to us by a modeler. Modeler will tell us, while creating analytical privilege, please assign this once of privilege as a restriction in this value section. After selecting for catalog, sorry, I'm going to be saying something. So that's how you assign dynamic privileges, 10 mechanical privileges. So it's a bit complex. Don't get confused because you are not going to be doing this in real time. You just have to select a repository procedure and you simply select a value. So this value, what we are going to select is that we are going to select a procedure. So the procedure will pick the value directly from the table, which I will be showing you shortly. Let us do this. Let us open an ESCO editor on System User ID. Now what I'll do, so let us select a schema here. So I've created a new schema before this class so that I can demonstrate everything. I've also created a sample table called latest. And when it comes to the packages, for the same thing, I created a package called latest, the same name. And what else I did, I created an attribute to latest. And I created an analytical privilege at underscore. So we'll be using the same thing for our dynamic analytical privileges. Now let us create a type here. So whatever we are going to discuss here, Nandu, if you understand or do not understand, it is not a problem. It is I'm simply explaining you for knowledge purpose so that you can understand the difference between a static and ethical privilege and the dynamic and ethical privilege. Because you can also do this work blindly. Modular will simply ask you to assign this. It will tell you what procedure you need to assign and what if you are going to select catalog procedure or what is the other one, the positive procedure. It will tell you this information. And also these procedures are transported by the modeler only. In rare cases, you will be transporting these procedures, which we will discuss in the further class. But now we are creating a type. Create type. Now we'll give our schema name. Our schema name is latest. Now I'm going to do a thing called employee location output. Instead, I'll give it. Let us just pick down the bases of each other. Now let me do a table name. I'll create a table for it. The gender, the value gender. Sorry, that does not keep open same. So that we are creating an output table. We know that we are creating an output table. We'll have this as gender. And we'll have it as a it's not needed. I can only do one as a dimension value. So we have successfully executed this. We just refresh this. Now see under latest schema, if your table has not, latest is there, it will come. We have created a type here. So we'll be creating a table also. We have created a type. What we are going to do, we are going to create a table. You'll understand now. Table. That is a schema. That's not schema, it's latest. It cannot. We are going to create employee gender authorization table. Employee gender authorization table. So I'm reiterating the same thing. You're not going to do this anywhere. In the table, I'm creating a value called username so that we can give the test user ID here in this authorization table. What we are basically doing is that we are creating a table and we are assigning two values here. That is username and this gender value. This gender value, I'll give what we have created. This gender we have created as a type now in the table. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give it as gender. Second U. I'll give it as gender. Gender also, I'll give it as 1. You might be more good with this SQL. So, as a security consultant, there is no need to be very good with SQL because you are not going to do this in the real time. The executor will do it. So what I've basically done, I created a table of decision table. Now, who is this? So what we have created is that we have created an authorization table, basically. And this authorization table is also created by the modeler of the. So what he has done, basically modeler has created a table with username as a type and where it can enter and gender as a type and where that one. What basically happens is that whenever a user logs in, whenever the user tries to access this particular view, will be like I've shown you earlier in the privilege that we restricted. Instead of this, we are going to select catalog procedure. And in catalog procedure, we are going to select the procedure which we are going to create now. So once the procedure will get redirected to this table, employees under authorization table, and it will check the username. So whatever username you're using basically has to be maintained in this table with the value that you want to access on the particular table. So then and only then you will be able to view that particular table. So that is the logic behind this. And then you will access your system. That is it. The table has been created. Let us refresh this. Our table got created, which is employees under authorization table. Now what we are going to do, we are going to basically insert some data into the table. Insert into what is our schema name. Schema name is level test. And what is our table name? What is our table name? It is employee gender authorization table. Now we are going to insert the values we want. What values I want to insert? I want to give a username called. I have created some test user ID for this name. I just have to create this user. Let us use the same user. I created this user ID. We just want to create. I'll use this one. I just want to basically insert a value into this username. We just want to create. Also, I want to insert the gender value here. So what is the gender value? I want to insert. Well, that's the gender value. So these two values I have inserted. So whenever this particular user is logging into the system and he has this analytical privilege assigned to him, he will be only able to see the data. So based on the user, the analytical privilege will be dynamic. It will go into this table, gender authorization table. And it will search with the help of a procedure which we are going to create. What that procedure will basically do, the procedure will go into this table and it will check whether your user ID is maintained or not in the username. the username variable. It will check that. And also it will check what content needs to be displayed. Let us say if it has only gender access. If you only have gender access, it will allow you to display on the gender access here. Not anything more than that. Now we have inserted this data. If you want to see the data, you can always go here. Just do a refresh before checking any data. I refresh that. Now go to table. Go to the number authorization table and click on Open Data Preview just to see what data we have. Data is not there yet since we are not executed this. So we have not executed. And we will call a new one here. It is so let's see. What is the latest? Volume, the change, the values. Guest 1 to 3. Oh, sorry. No, I want the correct user ID. I got this wrong. I'll just run this through and jump the rescue. I'll check some syntax order. Let me check. I'm doing it the manual way. Let's see what happens now. It should take the value. Syntax is the issue, I think. Now it will work. So it worked. So basically the syntax was wrong. So it didn't ask this. So similarly, I'm only inserting one username. So in the real time, we'll have some time users that you need to give access to. You can always insert how many values you want. Let us see if I want to give this access to an ID. You can always do that. You also have an address, user ID. Let us give female data to an ID. Female data access to an ID. So the data is also inserted. Now you can see the data. Just do a simple refresh. So now go to the data. Where is it? Go to the table. Open the data preview. Now we'll be able to see the data. So the user latest 23 is authorized to see data on the mail. Now the ID is only able to see authorized to see only the data on the mail. We'll get into this. We have created the table. We have created the type. We have also created the table. We have also inserted the data into the table. We have inserted two values into the table. We have done that. Now what can we do now? Now let us create a procedure. Create procedure. Let us give us a test. We've done it. Let us give our authorization table name. Imp gender authorization table. Imp gender authorization table. Now don't ask me, like Harsha, who is going to give this access to the user. I am not going to give this access to the user as an analytical privilege. But the procedure has this procedure which I am going to create. It is a bit complex. I am only creating it as an example in real time. We never create procedures. But yes, if you are so good, if you have enough experience in HNDP, there is no issue in helping people out in some difficult situations. We cannot ask you Harsha, so you can create a procedure. So if you have knowledge, you can help out, but it is not your activity. But let us say if you are working for a simple organization, a small organization, because I used to do some freelancing for an organization which has some name. But what used to happen is that the modelers were very busy in their own tasks. So, at times, what they might say, they will give you the details. They will ask you what restriction they want. Now, in the authorization table, I maintain gender as a restriction. Similarly, they might give me saying that restrict the data for so and so names. They will give us the column names. Sorry, they will give us the column data which needs to be restricted. So they will give us the values of what restriction they want in the column data. At times you have to create these things, but that is very less. You might have only 1% chance to create such tables in the real time. Because I have in my career, I have only created procedures only twice. So you will never get a chance to look into it carefully so that you can understand. It's a long period that we are going to write. So I have created a procedure. I have given this schema name and I have given the employee gender authorization. Table name is created. And now I'm going to give what? I'm going to give the data. Just a moment. I'm sorry you're not going to give the schema name here. We are going to do the procedure name which we are going to create. Sorry, we are not going to give you the authorization table name here. We need to give basically the procedure name. That's why I was wondering how can I make this here. That is going to be the name. So let's see. Location, oh sorry, authorization. Gender. So this is the procedure name. Now this you are going to see this procedure name in that analytical privilege section which I'm going to show you. This is the procedure name we are going to create. So you're basically creating a procedure under the schema latest. So now in procedure, what you are going to do, you have to give the output value. So there it should say, check the output value. You need to define that. What is your output value location? Your output value location is your schema name. That is latest. You have created the output table basically. What is your output table? Your output table is employee. So your output table is gender output. You can do whatever output table you want to control. Basically, now here we have created what output table. We have created output table as our here. The output table is latest. So now we will be giving the output table as latest only. So after that task, my name is also latest. Let us change it. It cannot be seen. This is our table. This is our table. So let's do one thing. Let us do it. I will create it later. Just giving you a table name here. This is the basic syntax, guys. Usually what they usually do, they do not remember this entire thing. They will save this copy paste and save this in the notepad. So what I will do at the end of the session, I will copy paste this into a notepad so that I can share it to you, so that it will be easy for you to refer. So this is that. Value is equal to what value we need to give. We have given data as what which data has to be collected. The data which has to be collected is our gender. It should select the gender. So you're going to select the same thing. Select gender from schema name. What is our schema name? We will test. We will test. And what is our organization table name? Our organization table name is emp. We will give emp using underscore gender. Gender organization table. Now after doing that, we will give user ID. We have created this value username. So that if you check the username in gender organization table basically. So you have created this and given the same name. So username is equal to who is the user. User is your session user. So whichever user is trying to access that particular tool will become your session user. Parenthesis. Let's see what happens. So it's a very complex query. That's what I said. I'm going to walk through this once again, so don't worry. Let me execute this and see what happens. Let us clear this. And there is our session. Could not accept this. This is not addressed. New value table. Gender output. Obviously, we don't have the gender output table here. So it will obviously throw this error. The thing is that our table is also latest only. It has to fetch the data from also latest. So that is not very appropriate. Let's see what happens. Spell it. Here we will do multiple issues. It's a bit scary. It could be really quick. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@uptalk.com.